We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill. Hello and welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. I am John Senning, and today I am joined by some fellow IJAH members. Wow, this is what I have written down. I didn't even read it properly. I am joined by some fellow members of the IJAH Brain Trust. My partner in crime from last year's episodes of the tour episodes, Cal Goodhouse. Hi, Cal.
Hi, John.
And who I am now deeming the IJAH pod editor-in-chief, BSP.
Hello.
Did you see that I wrote that down?
I did see it.
Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Editor-in-chief? Sounds good.
Chief? I don't know. I feel like you're the chief.
Not the editor-in-chief.
You're not the
I don't want to be the chief. You know how some clubs have like presidents? Not ours.
Nope. Maybe we'll keep workshopping it, you know?
Decentralized.
Yeah, decentralized. Yeah, 100%. Workshopping what? Oh, we can still have titles. I'm just saying no like president. And we're not doing presidents. Yeah. We can all be vice presidents.
I'm for that.
We can all be, I was going to say John Kerry.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about the tour. We're going to start. This is going to be a jam-packed Tour de France episode, right? We're going to start by talking about the recent Netflix series Unchained, which covered the 2022 tour, and then we'll follow it up with like a 2023 tour preview. So I think we should get right into it. We all watched Unchained.
Yeah.
This was about the 2022 tour. This was sort of a big like hyped series for like a year. We knew they were shooting it last year.
Yeah.
And Netflix made it, and I imagine most cycling fans watched it.
Yeah, I think all of us were looking forward to it for the past year. You know, as everyone probably knows, Netflix had Drive to Survive, which was the F1 series that really made F1 much more popular, especially in America.
Did it?
Yeah. It boosted F1 viewership considerably since it came out.
Do you think this did the same for cycling?
Well, that's what everyone was hoping. Like
I
Netflix
don't think so.
also made
That's what I was hoping.
similar documentaries for golf and tennis and other sports. So I tried to find viewership numbers for Unchained. I don't know.
Netflix like famously doesn't do viewership numbers.
Right. So I have
They don't
no idea.
make them public.
They don't make them public.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't really know how this compared to other sports, and so.
Did you guys watch that Movie Star one?
No.
The Movie Star series?
Movie Star. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Movie Star.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, Movie Star. I'm just thinking about Tom Cruise, baby.
I thought you were talking about
Movie
the
Star.
Stars on Mars.
What is that?
The one with.
Oh no, I didn't watch that.
I don't know. A bunch of
we'll have to. Can you bleep out his name?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we watched the series, right? It ended up being 8 episodes, and the first episode was fittingly called the Grand Depart or Grand Depart, right there. I don't know, it's French.
Depart.
This sort of sets the tone for the series, and it's focused around 2 teams, right? It's like Quickstep
and EF.
And EF. We get a lot of team managers in this episode.
Yeah.
Lefebvre and Jonathan Vaughters from EF.
Yeah. Interesting that they went with these two. They're probably 2 of the most polarizing team managers in the business.
Yeah.
Lefebvre is, I think, a bully.
Oh, yeah.
He has this newspaper column that he writes in Belgium occasionally, and he said things to the effect of like, women's cycling teams are charity programs.
Yeah.
And he bullied his riders. He's bullied Mark Cavendish, bullied Sam Bennett publicly in this column that he writes.
Yeah.
So he's definitely, a character, and to put it lightly. And then Vaughters is also sort of very vocal on Twitter, and one of those people that most people either love him or hate him.
Yeah.
I usually am a little bit neutral on Vaughters, but...
Yeah, I mean, I like what he stands for, but sometimes he does it in such like a brash way, like right ideas, wrong, I don't know, mentality. I don't know, because I do tend to like him. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I tended to like him when seeing him on... during this tour last year.
Yeah.
But then watching the Netflix series, it kind of was like, whoa.
You liked him more or less?
I kind of like
he's
less just
he's
because
intense.
he was like so intense and so objective.
Yeah, he comes
and
off
like almost heartless.
very cocky.
But I get it, I guess.
And he talks about riders in a way that they don't seem human. They seem like assets sometimes, you know, but he appreciates, even
That's
though,
what I mean about like,
even if he
objective.
like appreciates them. Right. Yeah, no, he is very objective. And he did like commentary during the Giro for Eurosport this year and GCN. And he was on a lot, like for the first few stages. And it was interesting to hear him like say some like very blunt things about his own riders, you know? Yeah. Like Rigo and stuff. Rigo's not the best. Rigo's like smart, you know? It's like, okay, well, yeah. Like, it's just interesting, you know? I don't know. He's almost like too honest, I guess.
Yeah, right. Like, why not try to talk up your team and your riders and make them look good rather than being so brutally honest?
So this sort of covers, like, what would we say? Like, there's 21 stages of the tour, 8 episodes. This covers, like, the first 2 or 3 stages, basically. The stages that are in Belgium.
Yeah, we get to see the Denmark.
Oh, Denmark, sorry.
We get to see the time trial at the start, and then the first sprint stage getting won by Jakobsen.
Right.
Is really kind of the highlight.
Yeah. And then they famously don't cover any Magnus Court.
No.
Which is wild. Yeah.
I was so excited during that first episode.
They do this whole spotlight on Wouters, the manager of EF.
Talking up EF and how they're in Denmark.
They're in Denmark.
Huge. And then I'm like, oh, listen, Danielle, wait, it's going to be
It's
so
gonna be
nice
huge.
at the end. We're going to have a big payoff here. We're going to see, Magnus win, and it's going to be beautiful. Or just get the jersey.
Nothing.
The points, and there's nothing.
They don't even like talk about him.
No, they briefly mention his stage win in one of the later episodes, but
very strange. Very strange choice. Episode 2 is Welcome to Hell. That's the Roubaix stage, right?
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I liked all the shots of like the cobbles. There's some cool like slow-mo stuff with like bricks actually like bouncing out of the road and stuff. I thought that was like fun.
It was a great episode actually. But the very start of it, there was something that was a little odd. I think we both commented.
Oh, yes.
So at the start of all these episodes, they give you sort of like the reality TV show montage, like it's a little mini trailer of like what you're going to see in this episode. And so they're showing all these guys crashing on the cobbles and how hard it is. And then it cuts to, you see Sonny Cabrelli from last year, 2 years ago,
Paris-Roubaix. Not during the tour.
Lying on the grass in the velodrome, screaming in joy, but they cut it in a way that kind of makes
that it looks like he's like in pain, like he just crashed after some muddy stage. Because that's what they're doing. They're hyping up the cobbles and the dust and the dirt, right? And very strange. Showing Sonny Cabrelli.
But
not a fan. Not a fan of his.
No, you're not a fan of him?
No, not a fan.
But I think I noticed that as well, and I didn't talk to you guys about it, but I did notice that as well, and I think that kind of set the stage for my annoyance with the whole series. Was like, perfect. And maybe this is a little early to get into.
No,
this,
it's not. I don't think it's early. Because for me too, it happened during episode 2 of the.
I think I realized it definitely into even though I do think that was a relatively good episode compared to others. But. Yeah, it's just like the continuity of like showing clips that just made no sense with like where the narrative was in the timeline of the 3 weeks. And then even like showing the clip of Cabrelli like at Paris-Roubaix. I was like, why are you showing this? Like you show so much other footage of the tour on cobbles.
Yeah, I think
it just didn't make sense.
I think clearly the show was kind of cut together to be more presentable to sort of a lay audience, people who weren't avid cycling fans. And so as people who watched every stage last year and followed pro cycling closely, there was sort of a lot of, like you said, incongruities and things that got left out. Which is inevitably going to happen when you take 21 days of racing and shrink it down to 8 hours. But
also no. I'm not. I don't get it. No, I'm not buying it because like they spent a lot of time on like montages and they chose to leave important things out. They chose to leave them out. And so like, not to jump ahead, we know that there were some like disputes between sponsors, and so like that's why UAE is not covered. There are some teams that are not even covered at all, right? Like we get 1 second of a POG interview, and I think he says one word to the camera, and it's taken from another interview. It's not even the same cameras. Like the type of footage is like different.
Yeah,
and so that makes sense in a way because legally UAE was like, we don't want to be involved. They are on Vaughters for 30 minutes in that first episode, and they don't cover Magnus Core. It makes 0 sense. Like that makes 0 sense. Like the energy that was in Denmark when he was like winning those stages and gobbling up those KOM points was amazing. People were hanging over and banging on the barriers. Magnus. It was fucking sick. And they left that out. Yeah. And that's the first 3 stages. They leave other shit out. That's wild. They leave the craziest thing of the tour. One of the craziest things of the tour. I shouldn't be using the term crazy. One of the most remarkable things of last year's tour. They leave it out, right? And so we'll get to that in a little bit. So welcome to Hell's the Roubaix stage.
Yeah. This was actually, like you're saying, a good episode. Yeah. Like it was, we finally got to meet Jumbo Visma.
Right.
Roglic is hilarious right off the bat.
Oh my God. Just wants nothing to do with the camera.
Yeah.
He says the funniest thing. He's like, they're like, you need to say your name. And he's just like, why? This is so stupid. He says something like, this is so stupid.
Yeah. And the shots of him just like riding his bike through Slovenia, waving at ladies on the side of the road. Yeah. It's just hilarious.
Yeah. He's just like a superstar there.
Yeah.
I thought him saying the, this is so stupid line was like, it is funny because you get to see his personality a little bit more because a lot of times in, the recent years that I've been watching cycling, he's pretty buttoned up.
He doesn't say much.
Doesn't show much personality
I don't think he does.
necessarily. A little bit more this past year, like I think going in the Giro and stuff, he was a bit more relaxed, but I don't know. I thought it was a bit odd that maybe not that he said it, but maybe that the directors or whoever chose to keep it in.
Oh, you think so? I love that they chose to keep it in. Yeah. Because to me, it's very on brand with his personality. That's always like, I don't want to talk. I feel like he strategically held second place in this year's Giro for the majority of it so that he did not have to talk to the cameras.
It's possible.
And he allowed G to just like have to talk to the cameras all the time, right? For like however many stages he held the lead. And Primoz is just getting an extra hour and a half every day, not having to talk to cameras, starting his recovery that much earlier. Yeah, that's an advantage, And he ended up winning on the last stage. So, but that's a tactic, And showing him just be like, this is stupid. Like, it is funny. He's not the most like media trained guy, but that's a big part of this. Like, you need to be media trained. Like, think about like Jonas, this, 24, 25, whatever, however old he is, 26 now, a year-old guy that like literally like packed fish into like styrofoam containers with ice. And now he's like winning grand tours and like having to talk to camera.
We did get to see the fish factory.
Amazing footage of the fish factory, actually. Amazing. Great footage. Yeah. That means they like went back and got that. They couldn't get Pog to say, they couldn't pay the United Arab Emirates enough. That's wild. Those people will take money for anything, but they couldn't pay them to be in this documentary. But yeah, they got that Jonas footage.
I think they must have paid someone else for the footage because a lot of that footage was the same that we saw, I think, like during the tour. Or I don't know, maybe NBC paid Netflix for the footage. I don't know. But
because you're saying
him shoveling the ice and everything, that was like shots we saw.
I didn't see that last year.
I saw that.
You watched it on NBC Sports, right?
I did, yeah.
Gotcha.
I did not.
So I saw a lot of that footage. I felt like.
Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely some footage like him riding.
That must be what it is. Like NBC had that.
Probably a Danish Cycling Federation or whatever has like an archive of. Like,
of course,
they might. Yeah,
they definitely do. Yeah, they definitely do.
When you were saying the thing about Primoz specifically being in second to like stay in the game, but not have to do all the press and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like what Remco was talking about at the beginning, where I'm going to give it away so I don't have to be doing all that. And I get more recovery time.
Sure.
And you know what? He got COVID. He got a lot of recovery time. He got what
he's getting nothing but recovery time because he's not doing the tour. Apparently, he's not doing the Vuelta.
He's got all July.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's not doing Vuelta.
That's what I heard. Yeah. I don't know if I saw it on Twitter.
It's a little surprising. It's unreal. You could see.
Let him do the tour.
Yeah,
let him do the tour and get it under his belt. It's wild. So yeah, next episode 3, Weight of a Nation, the Pinot episode, which was fun. Saw the goats.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, as people who watch through, to the tour through English-speaking media like GCN or NBC Sports, we sort of have this sense of the French. We don't really get a full sense of the French riders.
Right.
And Pinot has always kind of been a little bit of a joke because he's like, the French darling who is also a goat farmer.
Right.
And then to actually go to his farm, and we get these shots of him like kind of aimlessly wandering around in the
not doing
fields
much
with a sheep.
Yeah.
Or like
he's not like the responsibility, like the guy doing the responsible things.
He's like taking his goats for a stroll on a wooded path and things like that. It was pretty hilarious.
It was nice footage.
It was.
Yeah, it was nice, wholesome footage.
But this comes on the heels of a Giro where Pinot did not make a good showing of himself, personality-wise.
Yes.
Because like you said, he's always been a lovable guy. People seem to root for him for a while, getting KOMs or like going on attacks, right? Like, but he Ben Healy was laughing at him. Like Luke Rowe was laughing at him during the Giro because he had such a sour attitude, and it really was not a good look. And then watching this episode, I don't know, with that lens, I didn't quite enjoy it as much as I wish I would, because I do love Pinot. You know?
That's a good way to put it. Didn't enjoy it as much as I wish I could have.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh man.
And he himself seems a little uncomfortable with the spotlight. He even said that he thought that people root for him too much.
Right.
Right.
And it's an interesting thing because this Weight of a Nation, I call it the Pinot episode, but it's also a lot about Groupama and them being a French team.
AG2R?
No, FDJ.
Oh,
like his team.
No, I thought you were going over to the Ben O'Connor.
Is this the Ben O'Connor episode too?
Yes,
it is. Yeah. It is. Okay, so they're talking about these teams, that one of them being basically all French, and then this other team AG2R that has Ben O'Connor, who's Australian. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, on this French team, and how much it does matter. To these French teams to win stages or get on the podium at the Tour de France, because it's important to them. It's a big thing. Like you said, Cal, we get all this American or this English speaking footage, and I could listen about Tom Pidcock all day, but there are French riders, even though I don't know, are there? There's not. David Gaudu's. What is he going to do this year? He's not going to do anything. Is Romain Bardet going?
Yes.
Yeah. Pinot won't win a stage. I don't think he will. I just don't think he will. I don't. Yeah, I mean, okay, we'll get to that later.
I wasn't going to predict that he was going to win a stage.
yeah.
Maybe King,
but we'll see.
Jersey.
Maybe KLM jersey.
Maybe he'll go for it.
Because, okay, we can get to that. Anything else we want to say about this Weight of a Nation episode?
I mean, Ben O'Connor looked like a deer in the headlights.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That was about really
just thrown into this GC position. Yeah. And I mean, he's a strong rider, obviously.
I think he seems like a nice guy too, at least from the documentary. That was the most I've seen of him on a personal level.
Sure.
And I hope he does well this year.
I don't really recognize him. He's one of those guys I didn't recognize at all without his helmet on, It's like, oh, that's Ben O'Connor. Okay.
Yeah, just the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to see his face and hear his voice.
Yeah. Matched up with those brown shorts.
I love the brown shorts.
I know you do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so into the brown.
Wow.
Shorts.
You love them. Okay, after that, episode 4 is Attack Counterattack. This is the Col du Grenade episode, right? This is the famous stage. I think it was stage 11. Is that right?
12, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is when
I think it might have been 11.
Pog gets attacked over and over again by the combined attack of Primoz and Jonas. And it's amazing. And G's just sort of sitting there watching. Yeah.
Yeah, another great episode. It is one. I did note that Vaughters actually does predict the ambush at the start of the episode.
Does he?
Yeah, he says if Jumbo wants to unseat Pog or something, they should do it now.
Oh.
And they do. And it was, fabulous episode. Great to relive. This is probably, one of the biggest moments in modern cycling history.
Sure.
So it was great to relive that. Like you mentioned, they didn't really go into Pogachar and Roglic's relationship, which has a big history, but we get no mention of that. And I think they also could have highlighted the fact that Roglic was injured a little more. Like, his performance goes way down after this stage. So he didn't really get, I think, as much credit as he deserved.
He does lay it all out on the line.
Yeah. But otherwise, a great episode.
Yeah.
I was listening to another podcast.
Okay.
About this episode. And it's not something I thought of.
We're going to have to list the sources in the end.
I can paraphrase it enough. We don't.
Okay.
I don't think we need to, but.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's something that I would have thought of while watching it last year, because I don't have like the cycling IQ yet. But they were saying how surprising it was that Pog was attacking or, counter-attacking Primoz when he was making his moves.
Yeah.
Because he was already not Pog's rival at that point. So it's like, why didn't Pog just have the mind, or even the whole team, UAE, to tell Pog, hey, when Primoz goes, don't worry about it. Only go if
Jonas goes.
Only if Geraint or Jonas goes.
Yeah, totally.
That's a good point.
It's a great point. And
why you just killed yourself?
We can talk about this maybe a bit more in our predictions for this tour, this coming year's tour. But you could certainly make the case that Pogacar almost defeated himself as much as Jumbo did through bad tactics. And, covering moves he shouldn't have. So
just too excited.
Yeah.
Jeez, young guy. But that was a fun episode. But it's also a fun stage, and I think you let it. It's so fun because that stage was so great. I don't think it was necessarily like the way the episode was like built. I'm not coming around on the series here by the time we're at episode 4. Not yet, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come around on this series at any point in this podcast.
That's fine.
Okay.
I do think that stage 11, I think it was, that this episode was about, was probably my favorite stage of the tour.
Yeah, so it rests on the laurels of how exciting the tour was.
Yeah.
Netflix got lucky, because if they had covered a tour that wasn't this exciting, they would have put out a shit product that we wouldn't even be talking about on the podcast.
Well, maybe not, because they didn't even really get into the fact that this was arguably the greatest tour in the history of the Tour de France.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I know there's some recency bias there, but it was great.
At least in the last 25 years.
Yeah, it was great.
They don't really convey that at all.
No,
you're right.
No.
The way they left so many things out.
Yeah.
And also fabricating some weird things that maybe not fully fabricated, but making deals about things that weren't necessarily a big deal in the moment.
Yeah.
So maybe if there was if it was one of the most boring tours ever, maybe they would have made a great documentary.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
Just maybe.
Breakneck Speed is episode 5. This is the Pidcock episode, right? He wins Alpe d'Huez. Chris Froome famously comes in third. And but he also descends like an absolute madman. It is an awesome. I think this episode does a really good job at explaining why Alpe d'Huez is a legendary climb / stage, and how much it can mean to someone, because they show Pidcock's emotions and they show him flying by riders. I mean, I am very biased because I love Tommy P, but I did think,
as do I,
it was a fun episode, but also because it was a fun stage, and I just liked reliving it and remembering it because he absolutely crushed it. And it was great.
Definitely.
Yeah. They also talked about, was there kind of bio stuff on Nielsen Paulus as well
yes.
in this episode?
Yes.
They showed him a little bit sort of going on this foolish solo breakaway move.
Right. Because he was feeling good that day.
Yeah.
He woke up with a high whoop score. That's what that means. 100%. EF loves their whoops. Whoop told him he had a 96% or whatever, and he was like, I'm going for it. Yeah.
One thing I really loved about this episode was actually we got to see with Ineos and their director Steve Cummings, we see him going back and forth between Geraint and Pidcock.
Yes.
And Geraint Thomas is saying I think Pidcock should work for me tomorrow.
Yes.
And then Cummings goes to Pidcock, and Pidcock's like, I'd like to try to win tomorrow.
Yes.
And we see him kind of going back and forth and basically saying like okay to both of them.
Yes.
But then letting Pidcock go out on his own.
It's interesting to see G like that, to show that he really has like a strong voice in the decisions of the team. Whether or not, like, I'm sure that, the DSs and the managers have the above say, but like I feel like they really were asking his opinion. They wanted him to be like, sure, let him go. But he was like, I don't know, man. I want him to ride for me. Like,
Yeah.
We saw a lot of like really close nudity on G in all these like massage table shots.
We did get a lot of massage.
Pidcock as well.
Yeah. So a couple things with that, actually. At one point, we see Jaren actually has like scars on his face that I'd never noticed before. And seeing this, these guys in high definition, you do see sort of like the wear and tear on them a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually in stage 2, there was actually a shot of Wout on the massage table.
Oh yeah.
And we see his right butt cheek.
Yeah, that's right.
And
people screenshots all over.
But he has a giant red scar on his right butt cheek. And that was actually from the 2019 Tour de France.
Oh, really?
He crashed in a time trial against a barrier and badly damaged that glute muscle. And the surgeons screwed up. They failed to reconnect one of the tendons, and it could have, according to him, it could have ended his cycling career.
But it actually helped him? Is this like rookie of the year?
He just, I don't know. He just,
they just like wound his glute up a little bit too tight, and now he just like can win time trials and mountain stages and sprints and everything.
The DS yells at the back of the bus, "What not? What not?"
And that DS, the guy from Jumbo, is wild. Fuck. He's like yelling fuck all the time. He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's a lot of fun. But yeah, Pidcock episode is great. Man, what an absolute, like, he bombs down. It is absolutely great. Episode 6, Plan B. This is when Primoz leaves, right?
Primoz leaves, and so does DP.
Oh, wow. He lasted this long?
Yeah.
Damn, I don't remember him lasting this long.
They jump around in the timeline a little bit.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah. Have we already been introduced to Jasper, quote unquote Jasper the Disaster, at this point?
Is when we get him.
The episode.
Oh, it is. So Vanderpool goes out, and they're like, "How are we going to save our tour? We can't do it with our nice hair." And they're like, "We're going to try to get Jasper to win stages."
Yeah.
And he has 0 stages at this point.
Correct. He had come very close the 2 previous years.
Yeah.
But had never won.
Yeah. And he ends up winning 2 stages. The most stages of sprinter in this tour. Yeah, which is odd.
Did he really? And that was only 2 stages.
Yeah.
Or only
2
stages.
Yeah. I had never gotten this much Team Alpecin content before.
No.
And it didn't make me like them anymore.
No, it sucked. It sucked. They suck. I don't like.
No,
speaking of deer in the headlights, you think Ben O'Connor's a deer in the headlights? Jasper does not know what he's doing other than moving his his legs in concentric circles. Like, he just seems like such a fool.
Forgets his helmet. Forgets his water bottles.
He's unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. And now Vanderpool's calling him Jasper the Disaster on Twitter. I mean, I'm sure it's like all in good fun. But they're both going to the tour this year too. Yeah. Vanderpool has a weird tour. A very strange tour.
It's a strange team.
Yeah, it is a strange team. He has like part ownership in the team too.
Like Vanderpool does?
Yeah. They sort of like allude to it. So like, talking about how G has like a say because he's like an elder of the peloton and they respect the way he thinks about cycling. Vanderpool like owns 20% of this team.
Yeah, his father basically started it and sort of centered it around him.
Yeah.
So
talk about Nepo babies. Yeah. So a decent episode, but does not one that really stands out. Episode 7 is called Fighting for the Podium. This is speaking of like totally made up. We go roundabout. We're coming back to Gaudu at this point. He's trying to like get a podium, and they make it seem like Geraint is like fighting for the podium too. He got 3rd place by 6 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like such an odd, it's not even like real drama. And I think Brian sort of alluded to it before, but there's also that like weird fake drama between Wout and Jonas in whatever episode it was. Like maybe the first like Jumbo episode 3. But like, it seems fabricated or edited for the drama, you know? And like those words that are said are obviously said when they're like, you should have let Jonas win or whatever. But like, who is a better domestique than Wout van Aert, you know?
Yeah.
It's like such a weird agenda. I don't know. Is it an agenda? Is it just to make it more dramatic? It was a dramatic tour.
Yeah, I think finishing the top 10 for individual riders is a huge achievement.
Yep.
But as cycling fans, it's not really, you know, there's always, every year there's this sort of battle from 4th to 10th place between those guys.
Yeah.
And it gets some attention depending on how boring or exciting the tour is that year. And so I think the episode was trying to convey that, like how important it is for the individual riders. Mm-hmm. We did get some great Geraint Thomas content again when he's texting with his wife. Or he's on the massage table talking about how supportive his wife is and how great she is. And then he gets a text from her reminding him how old he is immediately afterwards.
That, like, what was it? Pog was born. You were in high school when Pogacar was born, something like that, right? Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, thanks." Yeah, he talks about his wife a lot on his own podcast, and it's great. They show their relationship a bit and talk about how she's supportive, but like she also doesn't like watch or doesn't follow. She just like waits for the text message afterwards to like make sure that he's like done, essentially, which is interesting because like you see some significant others that like follow along like really well. You see adorable Jonas and his like girlfriend and his child, and it's like, you know, not to say that they're following the race or not, but like she's like always there, you know.
That famous shot like from the Giro this year of Remco and his girlfriend where he like went up and like gave her a high five, or I don't know what happened.
Yes.
I like when Tom Pidcock's girlfriend brings his dog to the race.
Yeah,
little dachshund. It's great.
Sorry, I was trying to find something here.
Did you find it?
No. I could have had more time, but I'm also trying to pay attention to you guys. But going back one episode to the Alpecin episode, the DS of Alpecin is like such a scary man.
He's also the owner.
Christoph Rudhoff.
I hate it.
His brother is the owner, or they're joint owners.
Right. They're both owners with Vanderpool. Those two dudes in Vanderpool are like the owners of the team.
Like super scary, super stone-faced.
Yes.
And like no emotion.
Treats Jasper like shit.
Yeah.
And he reminds me, I think also what scared me about him was that he reminds me of a character in Sopranos.
Okay.
You love Sopranos right now.
I don't love Sopranos, but
I've been watching it a lot.
It made me think of it.
Which character?
That's what I was trying to find out.
For all Sopranos heads. Yep. He said Gabagool.
It's the guy.
Silvio.
The guy.
Silvio.
The guy that.
I haven't watched all of Sopranos.
Tony Soprano's sister.
Have you?
Is shoots him because they were dating. Yeah.
Wow, you know Sopranos? Wow, good for you. Nice.
What was his last name?
Oh, hey. Something Italian, probably.
Whatever. Anyway.
Colbrelli.
He reminded me of that guy, and I was like, whoa, this guy is a murderer.
Yeah, he seems like a sociopath.
He's not, I'm sure. But also... He
might be.
He's also in Everybody Loves Raymond. He plays...
the guy from Alpecin?
No, the guy from The Sopranos.
Oh.
He played when Robert dates the... I think it's Tanya from Italy.
Ralph Cifaretto is played by Joe Pantalone.
Oh, Joey Pants?
Joey Pants.
Damn, dude.
Oh, sorry. Not that guy.
Oh, okay.
Not that guy, sorry.
What?
Wrong character.
This has turned to a Sopranos corner.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I know.
We don't have to go down that rabbit hole.
I know. All right, anyway.
Maybe I can find it on the
I kind of liked
IMDb. Anyway.
But yeah, that's a bullshit fake battle between G and David Gaudu.
Yeah. So moving on.
Yeah. Episode 8 is the Road to Paris. This is the final episode. This is the Fabio episode. Does it start with him coming in below the right below the time?
Yes.
That's this episode.
Yeah, we get a couple. Yeah. We get a couple different teams in this one. We get like 3 or 4 teams. Yeah. Kind of wraps everything up.
This Fabio Jakobsen storyline was the best storyline for me. I actually loved it. I am not a Quick Step fan, so I never really liked him. I mean, it sucks the crash that him and Groenewegen had, and it's great to see him come back, but I never really felt for him in any sort of way. But this series made me be like, wow, to come back from what he did and to it's so funny. Like, he came in last place in that stage.
Yeah.
But he made it like within like 10 seconds of the cutoff time. And it was like very inspiring and like very touching, I thought.
It was incredibly touching. Yeah. They talk about how he almost died in that crash at the Tour of Poland.
Yeah.
In episode 8, we actually get a little bit of an interview with Florian Seneschal, his teammate.
Yeah.
Who Seneschal actually saved Jakobsen's life. He was there when the crash happened. Nobody else was around there at the time, no EMTs.
Yeah.
And Jakobsen was actually choking to death.
On his own blood. Yeah.
And Seneschal had to make like the difficult decision of whether or not to move him, because you're not supposed to move someone if they might have had a neck injury. But yeah, Seneschal did end up, sort of moving him onto his side so he wouldn't choke anymore. And
wild.
Horrific crash. Yeah.
They show that crash like 3 too many times in that documentary.
Too much.
I think they show, it's just way too much. It is a brutal, brutal crash. We've all seen it so many times, and like, not a big fan of that. But it was a touching story. I really...
Yes. Definitely a touching story.
The only way it would have been better is if he won that last stage instead of Jasper Philipsen.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But
can't deny that.
Yeah.
But so this episode also kind of wraps up the whole Jonas arc.
Yes.
The Jonas Wout arc that we get.
Right. Right. Shows them coming together. They're best friends.
Yeah.
Right.
They kind of try to build some tension around, like, they show Jonas bobbling a little on that descent on stage 19.
Yeah.
And they kind of try to build the tension around the time trial, even though at that point Pogačar had pretty much conceded that he wouldn't win. But I didn't really realize that Vingegaard had kind of gifted Wout the stage win.
Yeah, I don't think I realized 20. That.
Me either.
In the moment either.
I think Wout was very, humble, and I think when he started crying, I think I teared up a little bit too.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I think that's a plus that, in my opinion, we can give the documentary, that there was some little things here and there that maybe we missed, because not every person that's watching it live is catching every little thing that's happening. Sure. There's just too much to see.
Yeah.
And I think that whole aspect of, on the time trial, stage 20, Jonas knowing that he was going to win, backing off in the last few minutes, gifting it, if you will, to Wout. It was certainly very nice of him, but also, like, I don't know if backhanded is the word, but it's kind of like...
You think so?
Yeah, like, he didn't have to back off. He didn't have to let Wout have it. Because he could have just crushed him, and either way, it shows that Jonas was going to do better on that stage than Wout did. So he backed off and let him have it.
Jumbo is so good that in a lot of races, their riders are all like in the top 2 or 3 spots.
Right.
So this team like consistently gives each other.
Right. It happened with Laporte and Jonas during. Right.
It happened with Laporte and Wout this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Last year it happened with Laporte, Roglic, and Wout, where they were 1, 2, 3 on a stage. And so I think, and the whole team mentality is kind of all for one. So they've received some criticism for the way that they gift each other stages like that, but I think it just kind of makes them all,
they work stronger. As a team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes them look very good, and it makes them, seem like team players, and which I don't know if they truly are, or if they just do a good job of publicizing.
I mean, I think they are. You see Wout turning down, like, he's not taking other deals from other teams. Like, one of the biggest questions I feel like I get from people that aren't into cycling, that know about this god of bikes, Wout van Aert, is like, why isn't he just like the leader of his own team? Or, there was just a story that like Christophe Laporte turned down a deal from another team just to stay on Jumbo, like a better deal.
Yeah.
Like, they like each other, like they like riding with each other because they do help each other out. They probably push each other, like we see like Primo's not wanting to talk or whatever, but like that's the dynamic of that team seems better than a lot of other teams. They seem like a real team unit, where even when they have 2 GC leaders like they did in this tour, it still seemed like a good team. And it's interesting. Like,
I don't know. I obviously am a fan of that team, but I don't know. They just seem to like work really well together and enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely the way I always felt about them since starting to watch cycling. And I think, I forget which episode it was, but obviously one of the other ones about Jumbo, when it was showing them either the night before or on the bus morning of the stage, and the DS was saying, everyone's working for Jonas today.
Yep.
We're all staying together. But then Wout chimes in and says, I think I want to do it. I want to go for the win.
Yeah.
And the DS is like, well, the plan is to do this. And it just kind of was like left open-ended.
Yeah.
Very similarly to the Ineos episode when Geraint was saying the same thing, saying, hey, I want Tom to stay with me as long as he can.
Right.
Tom is saying, well, they both had Thomas in their names, but I want to win this stage. And so it was really similar to, it was interesting to see the similarity in that way when you also think about Wout at his age and where he is in his career to have almost like kind of a similar position with like authority in a way that Geraint has at the end of his career.
Sure.
And it's kind of like with both of those moments, kind of like almost seeing it as like a, I don't know, like a Michael Jordan or LeBron James moment where you kind of like, he's a team player, but he's also the leader and he almost has more weight than the coach.
Oh, sure.
At times.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, I also think it goes to show that like they're comfortable saying, because the G and Pidcock thing, they're not in the same room. Right. They're in separate rooms. And Steve Cummins is like coming and talking to them. The Wout thing, he's in the room. Like, he's in the bus with everyone. Like, he's saying it during a team meeting and not like... Because to me, that's very different. Like, do you have the trust of, like, your teammates to say how you really feel in front of them? Or are you using your, like, DS as, like, this middle person, this like, go-between, you know? So, to me, I think that alone, like, shows... how they are as a team. They're not always going to agree on everything. That's, what kind of world is that, you know? And like Wout wins stages, but he also like pulled up at the top of that one climb. I don't remember what stage it was, like 13 or 14 or something, where he was in this huge breakaway, and like he was in breakaways the whole damn tour. He could have won more stages, I think. And, obviously it worked out for them, and they're bringing a very similar squad this year.
Yeah.
So I think the drama is like, and this is, I guess we can sort of start to wrap up our thoughts on the series. But to me, I talked about how the no Magnus Court thing, I think that's wild. And you talk about they showed on the stage 19, they show Jonas like wobbling, but they don't show Pog going down and Jonas and Pog holding hands. And that is one of that, speaking of like bring you to tears and emotional moments, watching the tour live, that was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
This is amazing, this like level of sportsmanship. And they don't show that.
Right. Yeah.
They show Jonas like steady his wheel to make him look like he's wobbling. Pog falls down like within a kilometer of that, right? Like that is choice.
Right.
And sure, you don't have the interview footage with him, but you can still show race footage, you know, because that's like how that works, right? So they could have shown that. They could have shown the hand holding. They don't show the hand holding thing is wild.
Yeah.
It was a huge, huge moment of the tour.
It's one of the biggest moments in cycling in the last decade.
Yes.
Pog basically
it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and they leave it out. So the way that it's edited, the tour doesn't need to be scripted. It's one of the best it's one of the best sporting events. And sure, I love bikes, and some people don't care about the tour as much, but like on paper, 21 days of racing in 23 days, like at full race pace, like even guys like Fabio Jakobsen are like coming in just under the wire. There's they would make us look like clowns on our group rides, all of those guys, you know, like they're hammering 21 stages. I don't know. You don't need to like edit it and like leave these big things out. Why did they? It's one thing to edit it for the drama and be like, oh, these teams like are infighting or whatever, but they're leaving these big moments out is wild. Like There was plenty of room. They showed me like the same footage of certain things a couple of times. They showed that damn fucking Groenewegen Jakobsen crash 3 times. They could have shown me Magnus Cort. What the hell?
Yeah, I think the main takeaways for me were that on the plus side, it was really nice to see other behind-the-scenes footage that we would not have seen otherwise. Did I just say otherwise twice? I don't know.
Sorry.
But then on the negative side, like, I don't think we are really not the target audience of this documentary. I think the hope that we all had, and probably what the documentary was for, was to get more people into cycling,
especially an American audience,
Yeah, especially mainly an American audience. I mean, well, it was a French documentary, right? But the hopes also is obviously that it will get American audiences in,
right?
But I just don't think it will do that.
No,
I think they tried to make it they tried to frame it all in a very exciting way.
Yep.
To get more people involved and think that cycling is exciting. But I think what they did actually was just make almost everybody confused. There was such a lack of, linear understanding within, episode to episode.
Yeah.
Like, I get what they were doing. They were like focusing on the teams for each episode, and certain riders, but it almost made it more of like a sitcom.
Yes, because it bounced around. It was weird.
It was like a Home Improvement like skeleton of each episode. Is like, we're going to introduce this person.
Okay, let's hold on. I like this. Can we stay here for a second? Who's the Tim the Tool Man, Taylor, of
whoever the
Peloton?
Whoever like the main. No, it's more like there's a Tim the Tool Man
of every episode. Gotcha.
Or 2.
Gotcha. Right.
So it's like,
Jonas is Tim the Tool Man.
Yeah.
Wout is Richard Karn's character. I can't think of it right now.
Sure, we can go that deep. Yeah. Yeah, and then for each team, then you go down the cast.
Right. Wilson.
The DSs are
Christophe Laporte.
Wife.
The wife is the DS?
Yeah, the wife is the
What about Jonathan Taylor Thomas? Who's Jonathan Taylor Thomas of Jumbo?
Of Jumbo.
There's only one right answer.
I feel like it's probably Wout.
Oh, no, I was going to say Sepp.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Sepp.
Heartthrob.
I'll go with that. Well, that's... When you said there's only one answer, I was like, well, Wout's got the hair.
I already said Wout was Richard Karn's character.
Oh, sorry. You're right. You did.
If Jonas is Tim the Tool Man.
Yeah, so Wout is Al.
That's Al. Yeah.
So then who's...
What about the oldest son, Brad? Was Tish Benu on that squad last year?
This is getting a little cerebral for me at this point. I was going to say who's
just names.
Who's the freaking neighbor? What is his name?
Wilson. I already said that.
Sorry. I'm over here trying to think of my own thing.
Wow. Okay.
Going over my head. Anyway, so it's just like they present the team and the main character, and then it's like, but there's a problem. This is the objective, and then now we got to solve the objective, and then next episode.
Yeah. Every team is an underdog in this show.
Yeah.
Even like Ineos and Jumbo.
Yeah.
But
so I don't know.
Yeah. Overall, get Pog next time or don't fucking do it. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Overall, I'd rank this sort of, mid-pack, maybe like category 3 climb.
I like this.
It doesn't get to the lofty heights that I hoped it would, but I think it's made to be digestible for, everyday audience.
But was it though?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't have enough non-cycling friends who've like watched it and stuff.
That's right.
So I really don't have any, data, but I think visually it was great.
Yeah.
I like seeing the race in high definition. And, some of my favorite riders, I did get to know a little bit more. Like getting a peek inside Wout's head was pretty cool.
Yeah. And in his butt.
To hear him say, and his butt.
Yeah.
To hear him say, I'm one of the best bike racers in Belgium.
Yeah. So funny.
It was so nuts.
I'm one of the best bike racers in Belgium. Yeah.
But,
okay. Yep. True.
So.
I like that category. I'm giving it a category 1. It's
better than
Are they
1?
No, 5. They're
Is there a cat 5? Or is it end at 4?
Is it 4?
2, 1.
So it's a 5. I stick with that. It's a 7.
It's a 5, yeah.
It's a category 7. It's fucking Shannick. It's not even not the steep side.
It's fucking Situate Ave.
Yeah, exactly. So They're doing it again. Is that right?
I hope so.
I heard they were doing it again. I heard, I just saw on, I think it was on Twitter, but Pidcock posted a picture of a bunch of like Netflix mics. Cool. You know, and they're there now. We're going to talk about the 2023 tour in just a second, but Cal, you brought up a great point.
Yeah,
you had this little conundrum that you shared with us.
So, like we said, Netflix has thousands of hours of unused footage. There's lots of stories we haven't had. So I kind of got to thinking, if you could pick like one sort of mainstream director to cut it together in their particular style, who would you pick, and what would that documentary look like?
Do you have an answer?
Oh, you want me to go first?
Are you kidding?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Ken Burns.
Wow.
Ken
Burns.
Great answer. Great answer.
I just think he
makes great sports documentaries.
He would have done a great job of 100% reporting what happened.
Yeah.
And even though it would have been drier.
That's fine.
You'd probably put it on to fall asleep.
Yeah, it would have been on PBS and not Netflix.
Most people probably would. But he would have told what happened.
Yes.
And still made it relatively exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, we would have gotten all the backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real deep backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want like a Kill Bill style, like a Tarantino. No, I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question because, like, who's going to do it justice? Have there been any, like, standout cycling movies? Not really. I mean, there's, like, Breaking Away that people always talk about with Kevin Costner. I definitely watched that, like, as a kid. My dad, like, watched it, you know. But do you think of someone like a documentarian? Ooh, Werner Herzog. That's my answer.
Wow.
That's my answer.
Wow.
Werner Herzog. He would fucking kill it. He's so good. Yeah. And at the end, like at the end of The Grizzly Man, he'd be like, you cannot watch this. It's the footage of Jonas and Pog holding hands. You cannot watch this, but I will tell you, it's the most touching thing I've ever seen. You know, have you ever seen Grizzly Man?
Yes.
It's wild. The last shot is wild. Yeah, that's what I would say. There is tons of footage. I like how you said Scorsese style tour doc.
Well, I originally thought of this question because I just watched Dunkirk.
Okay.
And imagine if Christopher Nolan had all this tour footage, he'd cut it together with like 3 different storylines.
It'd be really loud.
Converge at the end.
Yeah.
But I got to thinking about it more, and really, I think this was the greatest tour in the last decade or more.
Sure.
And to really do it justice, you need a director who's gonna create a huge, bloated, 18-hour testosterone-fueled epic.
Wow, I like where this is going.
Hyper masculinity.
Yes.
Just like male nudity, sexy. Like,
great. This can be one of 2 guys as far as I'm concerned.
I'm talking about like speed ramping.
Okay.
Slow motion crashes.
Oh, okay. Maybe this is someone else.
Like
I'm really
soundtrack that's going to get your heart pumping. I'm thinking Zack Snyder's Unchained.
I was hoping you were going to say Zack Snyder. Damn, that'd be awesome.
You know,
like this like grayscale that's like really orange.
I think
be way longer than 8 hours.
I think that would have gotten a lot more people into cycling.
100%. And this didn't do that. This did not do that. Yeah.
I'm afraid this probably won't do that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the next one's better. Do we want to get?
Let's hope next year is better.
Yeah.
Let's hope for a boring tour.
Let's hope for a boring tour, so it's a good documentary.
Yeah. I take it back immediately, though.
You don't want a boring tour.
I want an exciting tour.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Yeah, let's take a break for a second. I'm going to open the door. It's fucking hot in here. Wow, we are back. I don't know why I start with wow. I do that too much. We're going to talk about the 2023 tour. We just wrapped up our Unchained talk, but we are right on the heels of this year's Tour de France. It starts July 1st and goes through July 23rd, followed by the Tour de Femme, which starts on that same day. Still only a week long or whatever. Right. Or 8 stages. But yeah, are we excited? I'm very excited about the tour.
Very excited.
Super excited.
Yeah. 21 stages. This year it starts in the Basque Country, which is region of Spain, right? I think it's the first time it started there in a little while, maybe since 2009 or something.
I don't know.
I think I saw. Total of 3,400 kilometers, and fun fact, 150.5 kilometers in neutral zones.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot.
How many? 150?
150?
That's neutral zones?
150 and a half kilometers in neutral zones over the 21 stages.
Do you know how that compares to other years?
No idea. Nope. And over 57,000 meters of climbing. There are 8 flat stages, 4 hilly stages, and 8 mountain stages, with 4 of them having like mountaintop finishes, and only 1 TT this year.
I'm psyched about the only 1 TT.
Same.
Yeah. So this
is that a hot take? I guess not. We all have the same.
This is not a typical tour route by any means.
No.
So it starts near the Pyrenees, actually. So we're going to go into the Pyrenean Mountains in week 1, which is usually second or third week. We get the Alps in week 2, and then the last week is in the Jura and Vosges, I think, or Vosges mountain regions in France, which are kind of lower. And so, it's
mostly the southern half of the country. There's not much in the north half of the country, other than the Paris section.
Right? Yeah, it's not a typical tour stage, and a lot of analysts are calling it one of the toughest tours in the last 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Mostly because of the amount of climbing that, 57,000 meters of climbing is way higher than it's been in previous years.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I think at first when I saw this, when I saw the stages 6 months ago, I didn't think they were that impressive, but looking at them all now, it's nice. I wish 8 mountain stages all ended on mountaintop finishes, but I understand it's hard to do because you want to be ending in towns. It helps the economy of those local towns.
Well, according to the Lantern Rouge podcast, 2 of those 2 stages that end on descents, the Players Union or Players, whatever they call it, is trying to, or riders, I should say, is trying to get that canceled so they finish at the top of the mountain.
Oh, really?
Instead of taking those descents.
Yeah.
Gino Mater was a cyclist who passed away about a month ago, and as a result of that, a lot of the riders, I keep saying players, riders are advocating to have fewer, finishes on descents.
On descents, yeah. I'm all for that. I love the drama of a mountaintop finish.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to make cycling safer, and that seems like a really reasonable way to make it safer.
Absolutely.
You're not racing on a descent, So we talked about last year's tour, last year's winner, Jonas. Let's talk about some of the heavy hitters of this tour. Of course, I feel like a lot of people are saying this is a tour to win between 2 riders, right? Jonas and Pog. And I hate to look at it like that, as a 2-horse race, because I do feel like there are other riders. I mean, obviously, hopefully nothing bad happens or no crashes or anything, but I hope that this third place, whoever the third place rider is, I hope they aren't just back 14 minutes or something,
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be nice. It would be really nice to have at least, that third place rider be in, a few minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Going into at least the last few days.
Hopefully, but there will definitely be crashes.
Oh, for sure.
This isn't so much a prediction as a guarantee that we're going to lose one of these podium contenders or one of these top 10 contenders in the first week, if not the first day. Because by not having that time trial at the start, it's going to make that stage 1 super competitive.
Who's first in yellow, right?
Yeah. Everybody's going to want it.
Right.
I've raced 2 different stage races in my amateur cycling career. Killington stage race, Green Mountain stage race. Killington starts with a circuit race. Green Mountain starts with a time trial. Green Mountain, do the time trial. Next day, the pecking order's all sorted out.
Yeah.
It's a nice, I don't know, everything's more chill.
Right. It's set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killington, I've raced it twice. There's crashes on the first day, no matter what. Everybody wants to be at the front. Everybody thinks they can win. And this first stage 1, is crazy. It's 11,000 feet of climbing. It's a classic stage. There's gonna be crashes. I guarantee there's gonna be bad crashes. We're probably gonna lose a sprinter or a GC contender or somebody on day 1.
You're saying Caleb Ewan?
I hope not, because he's had bad luck.
He's been going down a lot lately. Poor guy.
Yeah, I would love to see him not crash out.
Same.
That would be great.
Other than Jonas and Pog, who, not to get too far ahead, but I do think this will be a fun prediction. Let's just say those 2 guys are 1-2, right? who's third place? Because you don't have a Geraint Thomas this year, and you don't even have like a Primoz on that team. Assuming, I hate to say assuming that they get 1-2, because I feel like some of us might have other thoughts on who are 1-2, even though probably a lot of people don't. Who gets third? Who is the third person when you make a list? I have a list here of heavy hitters that I wrote down. The person that I wrote third, I wouldn't necessarily put them in third. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts of who I think my like final three will be.
Okay.
Versus who I want them to be, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is different.
Well, who I would love to see in third would be Sepp Kuss.
Wow. Wow, that'd be great.
I don't
I'd
think
love to see him in first.
because he just he just rode the Giro.
Right.
So I doubt he'll be there.
Right.
I think instead I'll go with Adam Yates.
Okay.
Because he's apparently UAE is doing a 2-pronged attack this year, and Yates is finally on a team that I think can support his talent.
Yes.
And so
that team looks a lot stronger this year.
Very interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah.
No Brandon McNulty though.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think like the Jumbo team looks very similar to they did last year. There are a couple of substitutions. Obviously, we said Primoz is not there. But yeah, this UAE team looks pretty stacked, right? Mm-hmm. The Jumbo teams got Jonas, Tish Benu, Wilco Kelderman, Sepp Kuss, who we mentioned, Christophe Laporte, Wout van Aert, Dylan van Baarle, and Nathan van Hooijdonk. Pretty much the same team, right? Who's there? Wilco Kelderman wasn't there last year, is that right? Primoz was?
Could be right.
I think they
lose a lot of people last year, or they lost a lot of people last year.
Right.
I think it is Kelderman is the swap.
This UAE team with Yates, Marc Soler, Rafa Maika, Mikkel Berg, this is a stacked team, you know. Langen is there. I feel like Pog has almost stood on his own a lot, and he is so great that he can do that. And to see him have like this strong team, even though I do wish Brendan McNulty was there. I don't know. It's going to be a lot for Jumbo to handle, I think.
For sure.
I think you're right. I think it's with UAE coming at it this year almost the way Jumbo did last year with the 2-prong potential.
Right. So let's go through the other teams. Who do we have so Ineos after that, right? We mentioned Geraint Thomas is not there. They have a few different guys, I think, that are like GC guys. They're the number one on their squad is Egan Bernal, who is racing for the first time in the Tour since he crashed 16 or 18 months ago or whatever, training.
Yeah.
But they also have Tom Pidcock, who could be great, but he's been also racing a lot this year. He might just be going for stages. What do we think about Bernal? Is he back to form? Is he the Bernal that won the Giro?
I certainly doubt he's all the way back to form.
Yeah.
I hope he's, getting there.
Yeah, same.
But Ineos, I don't know what they're doing. They haven't really made clear statements as to what their intentions are.
Nope.
The individual riders haven't made statements. Pidcock, Martinez, Bernal, I have no idea if any of those guys are going to even try to ride for GC or not.
Right.
So,
right. Maybe just stage ones.
Yeah, I feel like they might just be stage hunting.
Yeah. I mean,
didn't Bernal crashed out of at least one?
He's had a rickety year. He's kind of like...
It's kind of tough to know where he's going. I don't think he's projected to really be a serious GC contender.
No, me either.
Even though he's a GC rider, but I don't know. I'd like to see what Pidcock does. I feel like he's going to...
Oh, me too.
He's going to go for some stages.
I think so.
But also based on the documentary from last year, I don't know if he loves the idea of trying to be a GC rider.
Do you think he wants to be a little bit more flashy? More like a Wout or a Van der Poel?
I don't think he likes the grind of it. I think he wants to do what he needs to when he has to, but then go for the glory on the days that he wants to.
Yeah.
Which is exciting, and I like that.
Oh yeah, I think he's super exciting to watch.
Though he would either way, he would be a very, like, if he was in the lead at any point or even top 3 and he was getting a lot of airtime, that would be very entertaining.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's super entertaining. I love him.
He could be in the yellow jersey after stage 1.
Could be.
He's definitely one of those guys who could go for it.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun battle because that could be like a Wout or a Van der Poel or a Pidcock type of guy. Like that's almost treating it like a one-day race. Yeah.
That's gonna be an exciting day.
We have Groupama, which is very similar to the team that was there last year. David Gaudu is their leader. Pino's going again. But come on, they're not gonna. No, they're not really GC contenders. EF. We talked about Nielsen Paulus a little bit. We talked about Magnus Cort. They're both going back this year. Rigo's also going. Richard Carapaz is their number 1 rider, so I guess he's their GC contender. I put him in as the heavy hitters, but we've seen him not be able to hold the wheel of both Jonas and Pog in the very recent past. So it'll be tough to say.
I was looking at the stat bars on Pro Cycling Stats.
Yep.
And Nielsen, if you look at that objectively, it seems like Nielsen is a way stronger rider going into this right now.
I think for consistency, I don't think he's had many wins, but he's been consistently riding well in the big classics.
I think, how many wins has Nielsen had this year? That one in France, like in January, he won that stage race.
He won a stage race. He's got 2 wins, but a boatload of top 10s.
Yeah, tons of top 10s.
Yeah. I think if maybe he can be... If things don't shake out for Carapaz and maybe Nielsen can play things smart, then maybe he can have some,
I'd love to see
success in this. I would love to see him win a stage at least.
For sure.
If that could happen.
Soudal Quickstep is going. I don't know if they necessarily even have a GC contender. Alaphilippe is their number 1 rider, but he'll be hunting stages, and so will Jakobsen, I'm sure. Maybe Yves Lamport will win the time trial again for some odd reason, like he did last year, because it stopped raining and then he rode. Remember that? Wout was sat in the chair all day, and then Yves Lamport, it stopped raining and Yves Lamport won, and Wout in the chair was like,
I made the gif of that.
Yes, Bahrain victorious. They have Mika Landa, also Fred Wright, recent UK national champion. Jack Haig. It does seem like Mate Mohoric is going. It's like an interesting team. I don't really love.
I think they'll be doing some exciting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I love Mohoric. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Mohoric and Landa. There's going to be some good sprinting stuff and some good climbing stuff, maybe.
Yeah. Bora. Jai Hindley is their race leader. I think he's got great potential. Who knows? Maybe this is the Grand Tour where he comes to form and is just as strong as Jonas and Pog. I think he could be. He's won the Giro in the past, right?
Last year's Giro.
Yeah, he won last year's Giro.
He could be. Maybe I predict him as a realistic number 3, possibly. For the podium.
Yeah, I could say that. I mean, you got guys like Niels Pollitt on that team, who's the biggest smile in the peloton. You can see all of his teeth. And not the strongest team on paper, but decently fun to watch. There are 22 teams in this damn tour. We don't need to go through all of them. Who are the other big GC people? I'm not talking about friggin' Little Trek. They've got the worst fucking kits. All of their riders are questionable at best. AG2R, Ben O'Connor's not a real GC guy. Roman Bardet for DSM. You have the other Yates brother on Jayco Alula, Simon Yates. Lawson Craddock also on that team. Where's Matteo Jorgensen? What team is he on? He's going to have a good tour. America's own Matteo Jorgensen. He's on Movistar.
Movistar, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting proposition. Will we get to see Adam Yates chase down his own brothers?
I hope so.
That's what I was going to say.
I really hope so. That'd be a lot of fun.
I hope there's a stage when they're both doing something crazy.
Yeah.
And, one of them's chasing the other, or they're battling it out together up a climb or something.
No Michael Matthews.
Yeah, the Basque Country could suit Simon Yates. Yep. He's gone well in the first week of the Giro on those short, steep climbs. So we could see him on the attack early. And then his brother's going to have to chase him down.
Total Energy, Peter Sagan's going, even though he just got a DUI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so confused by these articles.
Same.
So
what, his license got suspended?
3 months, or is he? What is happening?
Nothing, I guess.
Nothing.
So he's still going to the tour?
He put out a video on Instagram. It's the worst apology I've ever seen. It seems so just someone wrote it, and it's 3 sentences long. It's awful.
Wow, I didn't see that.
And that whole relationship is weird with him and that team, and the way he left Bora, and I don't know, he really he's not going out with any sort of spark or anything. No. It's a really lame way to end your professional career, everything that he's been doing this year. He hasn't had a professional win since last year's Slovak National Championship.
Right. He also got arrested during the pandemic for being out with his brother riding around on a scooter after curfew.
Without masks and stuff.
Yeah.
Him and Yuri. It's Uno X's first time at the tour, which is cool. Alexander Kristoff leading that team. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's like fun. I like their kits.
It's an all...
You like the Uno X kits?
I do.
Norwegian.
Yeah, I think they're
You like the new one
like
as
them.
well?
I don't like the new one as much. No. Lotto Destiny's going. We talked about Caleb Ewan. They also have Victor Campenarts. And I guess sort of a big name that's going to their last tour ever, Astana's own Mark Cavendish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Will he get his final stage win to beat Eddie Merckx's record?
So I hope not, but he has plenty of opportunities.
He does.
There's a lot of flat stages here. With the sprint finishes, it's more about getting lucky than anything, So
he'll win that last fucking stage.
Yeah.
He will win the last stage on the Champs-Elysees, and it will be a fairy tale ending for Mark Cavendish.
Someone on Ineos is gonna
lead him
drop out, and then they're gonna have to call Geraint in to come in. He's gonna lead him out.
I will break my TV if that happens. I honestly, I don't want to spoil too much, but this is a very hard tour, and there's been a few years when Cav hasn't finished the tour.
Yeah.
When he's been finished outside the time cut.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I guess one other fun name to mention is Biniam Girmay. I think he could have a lot of fun. It would be great to see him wear green. As much as I want Wout to win it again, Wout's wife is due to have a baby during the third week of the tour, and he said he will not miss the baby's birth. Yeah. So... Wow. Wout could leave before the end of the tour, I guess. Yep. Interesting.
I did, found that out last night myself.
If you're a professional cyclist and you're like planning to have a family, maybe don't get your wife pregnant 9 months before the fucking Tour de France. Maybe.
And then the kid's birthday is going to be every year at the tour.
Yeah, it's wild. My birthday is the last day of the tour. It could be the same. Could be the same as Wout's child.
Wow.
Wout will never forget me, even though he never knew me in the first place. I think that's pretty much it. We talked about Alpecin, Vanderpool's going, and we did talk about the first stage, Cal, but I think we can go through a couple of other stages here. I wrote down a few. You mentioned stage 1, which starts in Bilbao. It's the hardest opening stage in a decade, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, not being a TT, it's going to be a fight for the pecking order, and it could be one of these like classics type of riders.
Yeah, I say if people listening are trying to decide like what stages to watch in particular, like don't miss the first stage. Right. Sometimes stage 1 can be quite boring. Yeah. This one will not be.
Right. And that's on Saturday.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, there's not a prologue. It's straight to racing.
Correct.
Yeah. The next stage I have written down, now the first week will be exciting, but the next stage I have written down is stage 9. Mm-hmm. This is the first time they're doing this. Do you know how to pronounce it?
Puy de Dôme.
Wow.
Puy de Dôme.
Sounds good to me.
Puy de Dôme.
First time they're doing it since 1988, the year of Brian and I's birth. And it's a spiral mountaintop finish.
Wow.
It goes around the top of the mountain in a spiral. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, hopefully they should get drones. There should be more drones. After that, we have stage 12. There's like 4 or 5 huge climbs on this stage. Do you have it in front of you by chance?
I'm pulling it
It's
up
a
now.
classic style stage, for riders like Wout or Vanderpool, or maybe Pidcock wins this one. I do have the stages up here somewhere. But it seems like it has like 3 or 4 category 1s and then an HC climb. It's pretty great. Yeah. What was that? What number was that?
12.
12. I might have meant 13 because it says just 12 is a hilly stage. So I don't know. All right. But 13 is man, this is the one that's on
are we talking
Bastille
about
Day.
Puy de Dôme?
Yes. Yes. That's 9.
That's 9.
Yeah. That's 9. That's the spiral one.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Cal, you noted here stage 13. How do you say this one? Colombier?
Grand Colombier.
Wow.
Colombier.
Yeah. Bastille Day. Come on, Alaphilippe.
Bastille Day, it's a really short stage.
It is.
Well, just 85 kilometers.
85, yeah.
This is one of those, the tour organizers have been experimenting with shorter stages to make them more exciting.
Yeah.
So this is designed to be a really fast, exciting stage.
Yeah. And then a couple other mountain stages before the second rest day. And then the first TT, the only TT, 22.5 kilometers. That's on stage 16 after the first rest day. Interesting placement for a TT. I mean, Jonas and Pog are both good time trialists. We'll see like how much time needs to be shooken up at them if they're both in the race. Hopefully they are. I don't know. I like it.
I think I really like it.
I like it.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we know that Pog and and Jonas are pretty similar in their time trial abilities. So
sure.
There might be
depending
a gap
on the course. Yeah.
There might be a gap that opens up, but maybe small enough that can change again because there's another. Is there another mountain stage?
Right after it is a mountain stage. Right,
so,
the next day.
I don't know. And who knows? Maybe someone else that's in GC contention that has good TT abilities can, keep themselves in and then make another run for it on that day after the TT. And it might actually be pretty exciting rather than just, having stage 20 be the TT. And then they'll say, now it's over.
Right.
Changed and now it's over.
Yeah, the last week's interesting. That there's the TT, then a mountain stage, a hilly stage, a flat stage, a mountain stage, a flat stage. So depending on how close that gap is between like the top 3 or 5 or whatever it is that are battling for GC, it could be a lot of fun. You could have guys going after all of those stages, right? Like, whereas, sometimes if something is more decided, maybe the mountain stages, they're still attacking, but on something that's flat, it's just going to be a day for the sprinters, or something that's hilly is going to be a day for the breakaway. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're just fighting more. I mean, who knows? The beginning of this season of cycling had like a lot of days of racing where the break never finished first. They kept getting caught. It wasn't until the Giro, I don't think, where breakaways were actually like finishing the race first. Yeah. So who knows what happens in the last week of this tour?
Yeah, when both Pogacar and Vingegaard are in a race, seems like they both want to win.
They race.
They don't let the breaks get much lead on those days.
Yeah, and in that last week is that stage 17, which is like the queen stage of the tour. It's 5,111 meters of climbing and 165 kilometers. Yeah. And it's over 2,000 meters at the end. It's the highest point at the top of the last climb of the tour. So
16,000 feet of climbing.
16,000. That's 4,000 more than we did at Greylock.
Yeah.
At race pace for 165K. Yikes. All right, let's get into we have some predictions here.
Yeah.
Cal, you said one serious prediction. My first serious prediction, I'll just keep it to one. Sepp will win a stage. Awesome. I want to see Sepp win a stage. I hope it happens. I don't know. He raced really hard at the Giro, but I really hope it happens. Pog. Cal, what do you think?
I'm going to say this is a kind of a hopeful one, but it's serious nonetheless, that we're going to see an American in the yellow jersey.
Yes.
I'm predicting that either Paulus or Jorgensen might win that first stage or
that'd be great.
Close enough and take yellow.
Ryan? Gonna need one serious prediction, very serious.
Oh, this is serious prediction.
Yeah, serious prediction.
Yeah, that Paulus will win a stage.
There you go. Wow. I love how we're, all proud, American proud, red, white, and blue. We're not mentioning the guy.
The most patriotic I've ever felt.
Yeah, but we're not mentioning the guy that just won the fucking, the jersey, the Stars and Stripes jersey. The Lidl Trek national jerseys, did you guys see them?
Yeah.
They're terrible. The flags look like they have the Lidl supermarket logo in the middle of them.
I don't think I saw them.
It's so bad.
No, I don't even care.
No, you shouldn't.
I don't care.
What about one absurd prediction? Brian, do you have an absurd prediction?
Yes.
Hit us.
Wout's having the baby. Is his girlfriend, wife, whatever.
He's pregnant?
They're having the baby.
Yep.
Early. He's got to leave during like the second week.
Oh, shit.
Jumbo falls off.
Uh-huh.
Other teams get excited.
Yep.
TT doesn't go so hot for Pog.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden we got maybe, let's say, I would like to say Tom Pidcock.
Yes.
Maybe Jai Hindley, but hopefully Tom Pidcock. Doing really good in that last week, making an effort coming back, even though he wasn't going to go for GC. But he's been doing the climbs great. He's stayed in the pack for the flat stages.
Yep.
He comes in. Tom Pidcock comes in second.
Wow. Love that.
Pidcock on the podium. Okay.
Love that. What do you got, Cal?
I'm going to say stage 1, Mark Cavendish gets dropped early on the first climb and ends up finishing outside the time cut
on the first stage.
On day 1.
I love that. That's nasty, and I love it. But you also added...
But, yeah, because of some, I don't know, backhanded deal or something, the race jury makes an exception and lets him keep riding.
And then he gets the win on the final stage, Champs-Élysées. Bullshit.
Yeah, another team leads him out when he should have been, DQ'd.
Yeah. I don't think Vanderpool will finish the Tour. I think he will. I think he's out.
Think he might.
I don't think he will finish the Tour.
I think he might drop out.
Not because he crashes, but because he I rode too hard in the break for too many days in a row. We've known he does. Maybe he's learned from his mistakes, but that's my absurd prediction. He does not win a stage. He does not finish the Tour again. We have any other, what about GC predictions? What are we thinking?
I'm going Pogačar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm actually rooting for him. I love Jumbo as a team, but I think I like Pog as an individual bike racer more than I do Jonas Vingegaard.
Yeah.
He's also a bit of an underdog this year, and I think that if he does win, it'll kind of only make that rivalry between him and Jonas deeper and better.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Yeah, I like to see him come back and win this year.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like I like UAE and Pog more than I ever have.
Yep.
Right now. And yeah, I think maybe it is because of what you said. Pog's a bit of an underdog this year because of the injury and everything and lack of racing coming in, but he's definitely a more exciting racer than Jonas.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I hate to just say the same thing, but I've been saying it for a year. Pog's gonna win.
So you guys both said it when we were talking a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and even though he broke his wrist, he's riding that trainer. He's
coming back with a vengeance.
He's riding that trainer. His fitness is great. His fitness is great.
Yeah,
and he has this.
He's gonna win a damn flat stage.
He will win a damn flat stage. He will win any stage to get that push, to get the extra the bonus seconds, whatever it is. He's unstoppable. Yeah, so I think it will be exciting. I hope it will be exciting. I hope it's a battle with Jonas, and I hope Pidcock is in there battling, and even Nielsen Paulus and other exciting young riders. But I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's Pog's race to lose because it is Jonas's race to lose, right? Just because he won last year, but it's a very, very even match, and wow. It's simple math. 9 months before the end of July. The gestation period. We know what the human gestation period is. Just wild. Really, truly wild. Is this
their first baby? Do we know?
No. It's not their first baby.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. You're right.
So this guy's he's getting a little crazy on Halloween or whatever. What's not,
I don't know. I'm not good with date math.
Okay, that's all right. Obviously, Wout isn't either, so it's something you guys have in common with you and Wout and his wife. Well, thank you guys. This will do it for this episode of the IJAH Cycling Podcast. Thank you very much for joining me. Do you have anything else you guys want to say about the Tour or Unchained or anything like that?
No, looking forward to it. Very excited. It's the best time of the year.
It is the best time of year. Yeah, the Tour rules.
I want to see Americans win some stuff.
I like that.
Like I said, I've never felt more patriotic in my life.
Yeah, we're a very patriotic podcast. Please vote. Register to vote. It's important. I know it's not for a little while, but it'll be sooner. You can always register to vote. You can always register if you're not.
Absolutely.
And yeah, are you guys either of you betting people? I don't bet on sports, but I know a lot of people bet on cycling.
No.
I was looking at roller derby, rollerderby.com if you want to bet. It's not any money. There's no money involved. It's just. But right now, Pog and Jonas even odds 3-2. IJAH Hindley. But if you go down Sepkus 100-1, I might just put all my points on Sepkus.
Yeah, you should. That's great. Yeah. I think putting all your points on Pidcock too would be fun. Because what are his odds?
I don't even see him.
Better than 100?
He's not there.
Wow. All right. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Join our Strava Club. All those links can be found at itsjustahill.com. Guys, thanks again. Enjoy the tour. Hopefully we'll be doing some rest day episodes, even if they're just like quick recaps to catch up. And the next 3 weeks are going to be a lot of fun. All right. Bye.
Thanks, John.
Bye.
Thank you.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.